Today, I'm going to give you a short demonstration of SAP Fiori Learning Program module. I'm starting with what is SAP Fiori, what are going to be the benefits and who are going to benefit from this course content, what are the target audiences. Then I'm going to explain the course requirements, including the things that you need to know to get the most out of this course. Then we'll take a quick overview of how the course is structured as per duration and timeline perspective. We'll dive deep into the topic and then we'll dive into subtopics and we'll touch base with the areas covered. So let me start with what is a system. We have two ways to look at it. First, end user perspective, second, developer perspective. As end user perspective, Fiori is new user experience for SAP software across the enterprise. It's personalized, responsive, simple, that reflects the way you work throughout the day. But as a developer perspective, what is Fiori? Fiori is a collection of UI5 based applications that simplifies doing business. Actually, there are three pillars that outstands SAP Fiori in this competitive market. First, innovative concept. What is innovative concept in Fiori? It explains user centricity. What it does, it disaggregates all these traditional applications and group them into relevant tasks and activities and provides user a single entry point. Second, we can say simple design. Apps are represented in the form of tiles. The square tiles, the rectangular tile, which catches the user attention, and when you click upon it, you just see simplicity. Third and the last one is open technology. SAP Fiori is trying to connect all these open source technology. It has already support for Java and Bower, and now it has included the support for Node.js, which is most popular these days. Okay, so let us go ahead and see who are going to benefit from this course. So application developer, consultants, enterprise architects, solution architects, system administrator, technology consultant. These all people are going to benefit from this course. To get the most out of this course, what do you need to have? You need to have basic understanding of SAP IT business processes involved with different systems like ERP, CRM, SEM, all these systems. It is beneficial to have a clarity over web-based front-end languages like HTTP, JavaScript, jQuery. You don't need to be a ninja, but having a clarity gives a one step ahead push to you. Okay. Having ABAP programming language is also beneficial, but it's okay if you don't know how to code in ABAP. Don't worry. We'll elaborate enough to learn this course and provide you with additional links if you want to dive deep. It's also beneficial to have basic oData communication channel knowledge. But no worries, we'll explain enough. Okay, let's go ahead and see how this course is structured. This course is going to run for 8 weeks. The course will consist of lectures, system demonstration, and exercises or questionnaires. We'll be needing to dedicate 2 hours per week for successful completion of this course. Okay, let's go ahead and see how the course is structured as per the content. First, an overview. In overview, we'll give you a brief understanding of what is SAP Fiori, how it was born, what are the design values and principles of SAP Fiori. Next, we'll come to architecture and deployment scenario. We'll discuss about the architecture, system landscape, its requirements, its recommendation, available development scenarios, and what is good for your organization. Next, we'll come to you HANA Cloud Platform and Launchpad overview. In this, we'll describe what is HANA Cloud Platform, what it offers, what are the unique microservices for building, extending, and intelligent mobile-enabled cloud applications. We'll give you an end-to-end tour of Fiori Launchpad, and we'll create one using photo service. Coming to Launchpad and standard application configuration. In this section, we'll tell you about what is Fiori design time, what is Fiori runtime, how to configure it. We'll take example of any standard application and we'll configure it end to end. Next, we'll discuss about oData understanding and creating using SAP Gateway Service Builder. We'll get to know about what is oData communication channel and how it is utilized in SAP Fiori application. Next, we'll discuss about custom app creation using SAP Web IDE and Eclipse. In this section, we'll create an SAP UIS application from scratch, understand the application flow, and not only in Eclipse but also in SAP Web IDE. Next section is about SAP UIS tools and security. We'll see what are the tools available in the market and how we can use them to get the most out of them. From security perspective, we'll discuss the authentication methods in front-end server and in back-end server, as well as the levels of protection that we can apply. Next, in the last week, we are going to talk about what is SAP Gateway and what's its role. How Fiori client is helping to achieve mobility. Now, let us dive deep into each of these topics and see what exactly we're going to cover in each of these sections. So the first week is theory and overview. Okay, we'll see what is SAP Fiori and how it was born. And we'll dive deep to see the guidelines for Fiori UX that justify programming shift from function-centric to user-centric. We'll help the business with the help of business processes. We'll see that and what roles Fiori performs to provide a holistic user experience throughout all the devices and across the globe. We'll talk about the Fiori version 1.0 and 2.0 and see what's new, what's better, what makes 2.0 a red dot award-winning design concept. Next, as for functional perspective, we'll see the grouping of applications and how the applications are categorized as per users' needs. From technical perspective, we'll explore the Fiori application types and system requirements to configure, utilize these apps. We'll provide additional links where you can explore more about every single application. And if possible, we'll provide you either with a set of questions or exercises for you to self-evaluate your progress. Coming to next week, two architecture and deployment scenarios. We'll get familiar with Fiori architecture. Different components installed in place in the positioning network layer. We'll give you a short overview how Fiori architecture vary for HANA or for any other DC. What deployment scenarios are available, what is beneficial in what circumstances, how you can choose a deployment scenario for your organization. Furthermore, we'll provide you with links where you can find notes, add-ons specific to your requirements. Again, followed by exercises or questionnaires. Coming to next week, week 3, HANA Cloud Platform and Launchpad overview. We'll start this week by getting to know what is SAP HANA Cloud Platform, what it offers, and what's in it for Fiori. We'll do some hands-on experience and create a trial account, achieve some services, test them, and have fun rolling around with the platform. Next, we'll understand what is Fiori runtime. How can we personalize it as per our requirement, as per customers' requirement. Followed by getting to know Fiori design type, how to manage styles, catalogs, and groups. We'll check the different style types available and how to maintain mapping for them. Again, followed by exercises or questionnaires. Coming to next week, Launchpad and standard app configuration. This week, we'll talk about configuration, step by step. We'll start from scratch, we'll do initial setup, and we'll configure Fiori Launchpad. We'll see how a specific app is configured in system and we'll show demonstration of a standard app implementation from scratch. We'll get to know what are semantic objects and how target mappings are done to achieve a complete configuration of app over folder. We'll provide relevant roles to users in front-end server and back-end server and generate authorization profiles. Respective styles would also be assigned to the catalogs and to the groups. So user would be authorized to use the application. Again, the same followed by exercises and questionnaire. Coming to next week, understanding and creating oData using SEGW. We'll dedicate this complete week specific to oData. Understand what is oData, who regulates it, what's it's based upon. We'll show you how to create an oData in SAP backend server from different methods. We'll generate artifacts for existing oData or created oData, and we'll register the same oData to SAP Gateway. and we'll make an effort to test the oData in SAP Gateway Client and debug in the case of any issue. We can also take the standard oData and enhance the same as per our requirements, followed by exercises and questionnaires. Coming to next week, custom app creation using SAP Web IDE and Eclipse. This week, we'll start with creating a SAP UI5 application. We'll understand its structure, purpose of each file created in Eclipse as well as in SAP Web IDE. We'll explain what are the UI5 elements that are available from SAP site and what customization we can do to them. Plus, we'll talk about smart Fiori elements. Next, we'll talk about MVC concept, model view controller. This is much common, but we'll talk in Fiori perspective, and we'll talk about what are the bindings available in Fiori, expression binding, navigation binding, execution binding, all the bindings we'll talk about. Next, we'll talk about routing and navigation in SAP Fiori. This concept is also similar to AngularJS, and this also gives the caching capability, and we'll dive deep when we come to the topic. Then we'll talk about consuming oData in application. We have created an oData. Now it's time we consume it, we extend it, we try to apply the workflow to it. This is how we'll wrap this week with questionnaires and exercises. Coming to next week, SAP UI5 tools and security. And this week we'll start with getting to know Fiori client, how to install it in your phone, and how any apps that are developed in desktop devices can also be seen beautifully in phone. Next, we'll talk about UI theme designer. UI theme designer will create and custom theme. Plus, we can extend the existing themes, make a copy of them, and we can completely change the standard classes to see something wonderful. Next, we'll talk about build tool. This is a SAP UI5 tool which allows us to build prototypes and import these prototypes into SAP Web IDE plus Eclipse, and you can just take that prototype and write your code and have your application ready in minutes. Next, we'll talk about security. How security perspective we can apply to SAP Gateway and backend communication channel, and front-end server, backend server will secure it both the ways. And it will be also followed by exercises or questions. Next and the last week is about mobility, integration, and extensibility. First, we'll talk about Fiori Mobile. In Fiori Mobile, we'll talk about what are the security perspectives are there, plus integration perspective, and design guidelines, and iOS, Android we'll talk about. Next is dedicated for iOS. For iOS, you must be aware that Apple and SAP has created and bond that they'll create more apps together. So we'll see their future goals and how we can focus on those goals to align with our goals. Next, we'll talk about SAP workflow in Fiori, how we can integrate workflow with Fiori. And we'll talk about SAP Fiori in Enterprise Portal. We'll integrate Portal with Fiori to see a better user experience, as users are more familiar with Enterprise Portal right now. So we'll integrate it and we'll see how we can see both together. Last but the least topic we'll cover is we'll take a standard application, we'll import it in maybe SAP Web IDE or Eclipse, and we'll extend that app. We can extend the oData also if needed, but we'll extend that app to customize it as per our customer's requirement. This is the most interesting topic, I would say that, okay, and it will also be concluded by exercises and questionnaire. So this is how the demo is and the course structure is. Hope you like it and you join it. Thank you.
Yeah, actually, just I have one question. Okay, hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, so I said
Hello?
I have one question. Yeah, I said I have one question.
Okay.
Currently, we have a two major platform. One is Android and second is iOS. Okay, so the
Yes,
development and the programming part is same for Android or iOS, or is there any difference
yes,
between? Hmm?
It's same actually. It's same. Development is same. There's this one checkbox while creating the application that in which platform do you want the application to be available. So Android is a checkbox and iOS is a checkbox. We just need to tick that. But there are some enhanced feature that are available in iOS, and we have a different codes for SAP Fiori for iOS. So we can cover a little about that. That's why I wrote that.
Okay, fine. Okay, one more thing. See, SAP provides some standard applications, right? So apart from that, if
Yes.
we go for some custom application, suppose I simply want to convert a specific T code to the Fury app.
Okay.
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 So again, it needs a development, or it is a kind of simple conversion exercise.
No, it needs development, but mostly it's not